I'm Jonathan LeBlanc. I head up Global Developer Advocacy for PayPal and Braintree. You can think of us like the technical innovation sector of the company. We look at both the technology that's internal within the company, as well as all the trends that are coming up in the world external, and seeing how they all apply to the world of financial services, and how everything ties together to benefit our consumers, our customers, and the world around us. Now we're going to talk about trends. I think the best way to start is to talk about the mobile industry. So I'll start with a few statistics. There are actually more cell phones active in the world than there are people in the world. It's a staggering statistic when you think about it. Removing all the fluff of people who have multiple cell phones, anyone that might be using multiple accounts. There are still more cell phones in people's hands than people actually have toilets. So it's an amazing thing to think about. When you think about the trends in the industry and how to really reach the most consumers around the world, mobile is the way to do it. Another major trend in the industry is around hardware. When I first started as a developer advocate, I went to a number of hackathons and saw hardware projects being built out. You'll bring in an amazing amount of hardware, really to build out anything and everything you can think of. And all of our software engineers, we would just revel at the amazing technology they built and how hard it was to build. Nowadays, with systems like Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, very inexpensive hardware, we've put that same sense of innovation into the hands of every single person out there, every developer, hardware engineer, designer. They can all change the physical world around them. It's an amazing trend when you think about it. Lastly, I couldn't leave off the wonderful world of cryptocurrency. And we all know Bitcoin as a trend, and really everything that they're bringing to the world. When you think about what the possibilities are around a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of the other coins that are out there, they are really giving a true cross-border currency, and is one of the innovation sectors that we're seeing within the world of finance. Let's start by talking about another market that's traditionally underserved in the financial industry. It's a really staggering number, but when you look at it, 50% of the entire population of the world, the adult population, doesn't have a bank account. And look at the financial services that we have available, and they traditionally target the technology towards those with banking accounts, with credit cards, to be able to be part of the global economy. So 50% of the world is not part of that global economy and is focused on really their local regions. This market is one that PayPal can really be a part of, and besides being inclusive towards 50% of the population and doing it for the right reasons, it's also a market that's traditionally underserved and untapped within the startup ecosystem. There's billions, if not trillions of dollars that are spent within this market, and they deserve to have the same financial rights and ability as the rest of the planet. Let's talk about another extremely important topic, security. We'll start with identifying the user. When the user comes and logs into a mobile app or a website, it seems like the most trivial thing, put a username and password, right? Well, it turns out that there's actually a lot of security behind that. When a user logs in, we want to make sure that they're secure in doing so. We want to make sure that the user who actually owns that account is the user logging in. It turns out that 91% of users globally their passwords are actually on the top 1,000 passwords that are used. So it doesn't take very long for a computer to go through that. Now, the reason really where we come in and where PayPal brings us that benefit is that we not only do checks for the username and password, we also explore things like biometrics through our partnerships with Samsung, looking at fingerprint scanning as an alternate method of logging you in. But that alone is not secure enough. So we do things like looking into hardware identification of an actual device. Think of it like a device fingerprint. We also look at alternate forms of biometrics like vein recognition technology. We're looking at companies that are exploring that space. Also, companies like BioNim, who create the NEMI up in Canada. They do heart rate identification. So they monitor your heart rate and use that to identify you. Amazing pieces of technology just to identify a user. There's a lot of security that we put in just to make sure that a user is secure in logging in. Now, let's talk about another major piece of security technology that we build upon. That's data security. Once a user actually logs in, how do we secure their data? Well, there's actually a lot of pieces of technology and a lot of human components here. First, we have our industry-leading risk management team. They not only consist of people in the technology organization, programmers like myself, but you also have federal and local law enforcement that's a part of that. Former investigators, just people that you wouldn't think that it would be a part of a technology organization, but they bring something special to this risk management system. Beyond that, we are part of the payment card industry data security standard, a very strict form of regulation on how data is handled and transmitted. We ensure that users never see each other's financial records, personal information, and that information is always encrypted and always secure. There is much more that we can talk about here, but really in this industry, the important things are security, ensuring that our users trust us and are secure, and looking towards the innovation of the future to ensure that that trust relationship is always maintained. This is why people trust PayPal and why we will always have our consumers in mind.